it off like we do every single week with the Tell Me Something Good. Crystal, what's good in your world?
What's good in my world? Let's see. I have a closing coming up. Probably going to be pushed to Monday. We're supposed to close tomorrow. And then I have an offer out. We're waiting for a counter. And then I've got another one that's finishing up some pre-approval work. So I got 3 in the mix.
There you go. Well done, Crystal. All right. And then Lindsay, I think you had some news tonight.
Yeah, we had a buyer very well qualified that came to us through our Yelp and Google reviews. We're big on that, and sent it over to Haley because we've been doing a lot of stuff with her, and she's getting a sale and they wanted to sell their house and buy another one, and said that grandma may need to sell her house too to move in with them. So hopefully that'll be a good transaction all around.
Absolutely. So 3 for 1. Thank you so much. And by the way, that was actually another thing I was going to mention. That's a $1 million listing that Haley's getting out of it. So that's a win. Isn't that a win, guys? All right. And yeah, Tom, this whole side is just going to speak today.
We're on a roll. So out doing what we are supposed to be doing every day, which I don't always do every day like I should. For Steven a couple weeks ago, we're open when you're not. For those of you who heard him all about knocking 125,000 doors.
He's coming back, by the way, in a couple weeks. He'll be speaking again.
Wait,
So, yeah.
Steven Ross, my buddy who wrote the book. Anyway, if you haven't read the book, get it. Make sure you don't miss it when he comes back. Went out to door knock after my open house last weekend. Still like 98 degrees outside. Did not want to do it. In fact, never had once. I got out to door knock and said, "Man, I'm so excited about this." But I did it anyway and got 2 leads out of it. So you just never know. Sometimes you get nothing and you think, "What a waste of time." It's not a waste of time. You're still putting in the effort. You're still putting yourself in the way of business. So hard work pays off. She literally said, "Oh, I want to come see your open house. I didn't get to see it. How much is it?" And I said, "You win a prize of yes." She goes, "Okay, tell me about it." And I said, "It's 2 bedroom." Okay, shh. Okay, no, okay. And she was wrong, but anyway, she was super excited, and so now I'm gonna meet with her to sell her house. So.
There you go. That's a win. By the way, Gary, you have a big announcement. I was reading the news, and your team popped up in the news. Tell us about it.
Our mega team New Vision was named to Real Trends top teams. And we're also ranked top 50 in.
There you go. That's you got real estate royalty here at the team meeting. All right, and he's good looking to boot. Adrian, you have some recent wins.
Yeah, 2 files in escrow. Those are moving through, and then we have a referral that I was just completed.
Yep. So he's waiting for that mailbox check. Easy money. All right. Well, then give him a round of applause. And then anybody else that I did not call on? Anybody online? All right. Then yeah, Haley's got some stuff in the pipeline. Adrian's got the new escrow. Janae's got a new escrow. Valerie has 4 new escrows, 2 closings, and 3 listings. So a lot of good stuff to celebrate. Who says real estate's slow right now? Right? We're popping. Okay. So with that, we do have an upcoming event. So if you're thinking, man, how do I do? My day is just so busy. How am I going to get more done in a day? I highly recommend you go to this, just scan the QR code. The event is free. It's on June 20th at PCAR, like we do every single month. We're flying in Phil Stringer. This is probably like the top 2, top 3 speakers that we have every single year. He is really good. Lexi, what were some of your favorite takeaways from Phil?
It's just absolutely mind blowing the way that he uses AI and ChatGPT to like streamline, to scale your business, and he literally has so many ideas that it'll just leave you racing, going, "Oh my gosh, I have no idea." Yeah.
So if you guys see me at all on Instagram and you're like, you see the radio show that Valerie or that I put out, some of the tools that I used to edit that came from what I learned at this thing, and it seriously went from hours worth of work down to 15 minutes. And so if you're looking to put out more content, if you're looking to be more relevant in real estate, I highly recommend you attend that. Again, June 20th. And then next up is JJ Mack with our lender update. Come on up, man. Get a couple up now.
Thank you, guys. And really quick, I'll take a quick 30 seconds here. That's okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a office in the building now. You guys went down and seen office number 7? If you haven't, you need to walk down there and check it out. I have so I've been for a couple of years now, and I've been working with. I've known Brent for a lot longer than that, And we've been working together with Johnny and Brent and Barry, we're trying to figure out how we can make something work for you all. And I've been trying to add as much value as I can over the last couple of years. And with that, I think that we finally put something together to where now I can officially say, not only am I a lot of your preferred lenders, but I'm a lot of your in-house lenders too. So very excited to be here. Very excited to continue to bring as much value as I can to you all. I want to give a big shout out to Brent because, man, I know you all have been inspired by him and all you are here because of him. But I just want to say I feel the exact same way about him. I feel it, and also for Barry for also helping me get this deal done. I appreciate you, Barry.
Thank you.
I appreciate Rob for helping me with this whole thing. And then last but not least, buddy here, Johnny Jennings, man. Every time I sit down with this guy, you know what? The first thing that whenever he opens his mouth, the first thing he always has to say is, well, is this going to help the agents out? Is this going to help the people in this office? It's not about him, it's not about anybody else, it's about you guys. And so I just want to say thank you so much to Johnny for the person that you are and for allowing me to be here. Appreciate you. Okay, so where are interest rates at? What are we doing here? So interest rates, we have a big day tomorrow. BLS job report is coming out, and I'm hopeful that we are going to have a good, some good news. And so with that being said, it could end up being that we see a huge push down in interest rates. So cross your fingers. As long as they follow the ADP standings, BLS should also come in with some lower unemployment, which would allow, or higher unemployment, which would allow interest rates to come down. So look out for that. With that being said, I wanted to share one more thing with you. I was looking at my business. I was trying to figure out, I was meeting with Johnny tomorrow. We're going over all the things we've got going on. And one of the things I was looking at was, what are some of the tools that I've used to succeed over the years? And I wanted to share one with you all that's really helped me out. Have you guys ever heard of space his name, Simon Sinek, I think his name? Yeah. Okay. So I love that guy. And you guys watch TED Talks? So I'm a big TED Talk person. My wife actually hates it because we sit down on the couch and we're like, what do we want to watch tonight? And I just like pull up TED Talks. We like keep watching like 10 of them. And she's like, can we just watch something else? But I love them. And so one of the things, this was probably like 5-6 years ago, and I found his TED Talk, and it was about why. And the why. And so when I watched that, I started looking into more about, well, why do I do what I do? And why should we ask the questions that we ask? And one of the big things now that I do in my business that's really helped me succeed is I ask why. But I don't just ask it once, I ask it 3 times. And the power in that is huge, because when you ask somebody, why do you want to buy a house? It's like, well, I want to own my own. I don't want to rent anymore. I want to own. Well, why do you want to own? Well, I want to be able to do what I want with my house. But why would you want to do what you want with your house? Well, because that third why usually gets down to the core of why they really want to do what they want to do. And then they're going to say, no, I want to buy a house because I want to put my family somewhere that I can pass on to them. It's a legacy thing. And that really gets down to the why that they want to be there. When you do that, what do you think that does? It builds your relationship with them. And that's what we're trying to do in this business. We're trying to build relationships. And so I just wanted to share that with you all. So if you all were to send a referral over to me, you will know that I'm working on trying to build the relationships with that client. All my team will be doing the same exact thing. So, and I hope that you can all use this in your business as well. Whenever you have something that you're going to be doing, don't just look for the quick, hey, let's go look for some properties. What do you want to see? Ask them, well, why do you want to see that property? Why is that important to you? Why do you want to do this? And that will get you that deeper relationship with that person. So hopefully that helps you all out. I wanted to share one more thing with you all. Jake, could you just raise your hand and say hi?
Amen.
So Jake Kurtz is actually going to be sitting in the office number 7. So he'll be here all the time. You guys need him. He's on my team. And he's a really good guy. He is married and he has a 4-year-old son, 3 or 4, 3.5. And his name's Cannon. And you'll probably see him run around the halls one of these days. But he's on our team. And not only is he an amazing loan officer, but he's a musician. So he sings and he plays piano and he does guitar and he does all sorts of things.
He smokes cigars.
All right, let's go.
But yeah, but you guys will be able to meet him. He's gonna be sitting back there. And so give them the best that you can, go talk to them and make a relationship with him. I know you guys will all enjoy him just as much as we do at our office. Is there anything that I can do for you? Any questions that you have at all?
ECB just lowered their interest rate for the first time in 19 years. Is that going to affect us at all, or is that just the start of the trend in what we're seeing?
Yeah, so that was kind of, I always say it's kind of like baked in, right? So we have seen some pretty good push to lower interest rates over the last several days. So we have seen about a 45 basis point shift over last week to this week. So we are seeing some better rates. So yes, absolutely. Not only that, but the Fed has come out and they continue to say we need to lower rates. So we are going to continue to see potentially those interest rates get lowered for that as well. Yeah, good question, man. Yeah, good question. So we did get something from the Dream for All. They did say that they were reaching out still to some of they're about, I think they're about 75% of the way through of reaching out to their all the people that submitted and trying to get some information back from them before they let out the results. So if those last 25% don't respond, they haven't told us when, but they were going to just release those results anyways. So they haven't said anything else, but they did say at one point it's going to be the beginning of June. So hopefully we're still going to see that hopefully the next week.
And in the office down there, are there any resources for agents that Jake will have available?
Absolutely, yes. So we have a ton of we have those stands that hold flyers in it. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start changing those up every week or two. And so if you guys see something in those stands that you like, they can all be co-branded to you. So between Jake and Allison, we can make sure that whatever you guys want in there, we can put in there. So if it's something on, ADU, and we're talking about ADUs, we put that in there. There's something about investment properties, jumbo loans, Cal Half a Dream for All, whatever it is that you guys are looking for to pass on to your clients, we can make sure that happens. If it's first time home buyer packets, we want to co-brand with you. If it's something that's custom, we can make it for you. If you guys want to do an open house together, stop in by Jake's office and see if there's somebody that can be available that weekend. You can still use our text and call number as well, but somebody is here now and there's going to be a lot of resources that you guys are going to have available to yourself through that.
Perfect. All right, guys. Any other questions for JJ? All right, thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, before we start into the meat and potatoes of today, we have our special guest. Thank you for the food, Miss Jennifer with Home Warranty of America. She's going to give us 2 brief minutes on the benefits of HWA.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'll just quick background about myself. I have been in real estate for 24 years, so I might know a thing or two about what you guys are dealing with. Hey there, how are you? Anyhow, so I have 2 minutes, so I really this takes me like 20 minutes. So real quick, I'm going to take JJ's why Home Warranty of America. Because you had me as your rep. Let's figure out. At the end of the day, what's most important? Communicating, right? Getting somebody out there. Our claims department, it's not like we hit number 1 and you're on hold. What you do is you call me. I call my escalations manager. She makes stuff happen. She'll call your clients on your behalf. She will file claims on your client's behalf if they're not capable to, if they're older and they just don't know how to do it. We get our contractors out there within 48 hours. If you do not get a call and somebody out in 48 hours, then we do a reimbursement program where we work with your contractor, which I can go in more detail. So why would you not use us? Another reason why our pricing is super competitive. Our top of the line, our Mac Daddy is only $490 and you get everything, all the bells and whistles. And with that, you get up to 6 keys rekeyed for the service fee of $75. We're still under 100, where most of my competitors are way over $100 for the service fee. So you get 6 doors rekeyed. I've had clients use this service literally within 24 hours. They've been out to rekey it. What else do we have? We have where we will work with your homeowner's insurance company. So let's say we came out to fix a leaky dishwasher and the floors were buckling. If your client decides to file that with their homeowner's insurance company, then we'll reimburse your clients up to $1,000. Also with our platinum plan, we will take away old units. So say you need a new refrigerator, we will haul that away for free. We also will credit your clients up to $250 for code violations. So meaning, let's say you sold a property as is and the water heater was not strapped and braced. We will credit your clients up to $250 to make that adjustments. Let's see what else. do I got?
13 months.
13 months. Yes, thank you. That's how we outshine. We cover you guys for 13 months, not 12 months. And then lastly, let's talk about our sellers coverage policy. I hope you guys are all using that on your listing presentations to bring your clients value. Why? Because it's basically free and your clients get up to 180 days during the listing where we cover the appliances. Another reason why, let's say they're not pre-existing and you can prove it. You have a home inspection report come in. Some of those items could fall into where we will fix it. So another reason, you have me, you put my number in your phone, Home Warranty of American Girl right there, Michael. You call me and I work 7 days a week, saying that because I really do. I work basically until about 7, 8 o'clock every night. So I am very fast responding. If I'm with the client, I'll send you a text, call you back. Lastly, I have these awesome brochures. I'll go over this real fast. And here I have the last 4 pages of this Mac Daddy that goes over everything. This goes over our pricing. We do condos, mobile homes, townhomes, single family homes, obviously over 5,000 square feet. We do new construction, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. So this goes over pricing. This is the last page of the brochure, has my information. If you like any of this in a PDF, just let me know. I'd be happy to email that to you. So thank you for your time.
It's the best way to reach out to you, Jen.
916-296-2186. Once again, that's 916-296-2186. Put me under home warranty, rep, chick, whatever you want, Jennifer. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, that's fantastic. And then up next, we have Dominique, AKA Dom, and he's gonna be speaking on some ADUs. Clap him up to the front, guys. Probably the best way to do this, rather than the gauntlet right there, yeah.
Morning, everyone.
Right.
Well, you do get nervous when you get up here, huh? Big difference. My name is Dominique, and I am the owner of RiceCon North America Corporation. We are a residential and commercial construction company that focuses on ADUs and new home builds and full home remodels. And I'm here to talk a little bit about what we offer, and also, as you can see, some of the brochures on there. We like to give referrals to our agents that send us business, right? Everybody wins. The referrals are anywhere from 1% to 3% for anything that you send over, be it the whole full remodel, ADUs, even down to kitchens and bathrooms. I've been doing this for about 25 years. I started building 3-story homes on the mountainsides of San Francisco. So let me tell you how much fun that is. And I was a rookie back then. So I learned from the bottom on how to excavate, how to do foundation work, engineering, you name it. I've done it all. And I've started my company back in 2006. So I've been around quite a lot. I started in San Francisco, did building houses in Palo Alto, San Jose. Then I moved up here in 2011, I think it was. And I started doing flips. The market was really good up here. So by 2013, I was doing anywhere from 15 to 20 flips a year. So I'm very familiar with all of your work, the escrow process, the selling, the buying. And what I come to offer is that if you guys refer your clients, I know how important it is for reputation. We do everything hands-on. So your client is able to talk to me. That's my only job now. I have managers that work for me that go and look at the projects that we're doing. But your clients get a very hands-on experience. We send them reports every week, updating on any information. And when you work with your clients, they do have my personal cell phone number. So you, as well as your clients, are able to call me whenever you want. Just like you said, that's all I do.
No.
I'm not married, I don't have kids, so all I do is work. Yeah. 7 days a week. That's for playing golf. Unless I'm playing golf, then I'll answer my phone at any time. So that's one of the things. There's a lot of companies out there. I'm going to speak really quickly on the ADUs that I know it's a big market at the moment. There's a lot of companies out there that do the sales and the marketing, and then they scramble to find contractors. Like I've seen them, they go and they say, that's why they take forever to do what they do, because they're scrambling. People are let down, they make mistakes. with us, we have our own employees and our own subs that have been working together for 8 years. So we don't outsource anything. My managers are employees, my electricians are employee, our assistants are employees, everything is in-house, so we don't have to outsource to anybody. So it's what I call white glove service for the ADUs and any home remodels. I do work with a lot of investors that are now doing both. They'll buy a property that needs to be remodeled, and then they build 1 to 2 ADUs in the backyard just to obviously increase their revenue. And we've been in business for 20 years, so your clients and yourself will be very well taken care of if you refer anybody over to us. Also, so I use a marketing tactic is I was on HGTV. I had 14 episodes in a full season, and they followed me because I was the only knowledgeable contractor that had his own money. So I had one investor that basically gave me a carte blanche checking account, and I was buying all those houses a year. But I was the actual contractor, so they followed me around all over the place doing it. Don't look it up because I look like a little kid and a rookie back then. This is like 8 years ago, but you guys will be in good hands because, like I said here, I'm gonna hopefully start working with Barry and Crystal. Thank you very much for bringing me in here. And I work with Pitt as well. Him and I are good friends, and he's also a very good friend of my best friend, who is our actual in-house counsel. He's a real estate and corporate attorney and a tax attorney. So if you guys ever have any questions, you could always email our company, and he's there with us. We share the same office, and if you guys need any help, besides what EXP might have for legal advice, but we have in-house counsel. So that's another added security for all your referrals and yourself. Yes.
So let's focus a little on the ADUs. I think everyone's really excited about that.
Okay.
What are some specifics you could guide us for? I looked here in the brochure. I can see you've got an 80,000 start price. But share with us what you might consider an ideal little ADU, what we need to look for in a property, yard size, easement requirements. What are some just information about that? And
that's a good question. Yeah, the new laws, the setbacks used to be 10 to 15 feet for fire protection. That would be your setback regularly in your backyard if you wanted to build a pool or a pool house or a little casita, like they used to call them. But now they changed them down to 4 feet setbacks. We could even get down to about 3 to 3.5, but that increases the price slightly because whatever wall is hitting the 3.5 setback, we have to create a firewall. And that costs a lot extra to get the fire materials, and you have to do double the work. But you could go up to about 3.5 feet from the setback. Right now, because of the ADU laws, we do have priority all over California. So when we submit a permit, we are first in line. So if somebody's submitting for a full house build or a house remodel or a kitchen remodel, ADUs take precedence because they need to get these houses built as fast as possible. And the smallest ADU we do is about, the smallest we've done is 386 square feet.
Okay.
And the ADUs have to be under 1,200 square feet. So depending on the size of the ADU is how long the build takes. Usually something between 400 to 500 square feet, we can get done within 4 to 6 months. That's the actual build. So when you work with our in-house architect, that might take 4 weeks when you're deciding on your door style or your tile or your cabinet color. That's between you and our architect. And that might take about 4 weeks until we can submit the permits. After we submit for permits, that's less than 5 weeks turnaround time. Then at that point, once we get permits in hand, the house gets built within 4 to 6 months. As long as it's under 1,200 square feet. So we're going into about 1,100 square foot homes. Those usually take about 6 to 8 months to build.
what's the sweet spot that you're out there building?
Between
Size
4 and
wise.
6.
Okay.
Most of them are being done for in-laws or
Is that a
kids.
2-1, a 2-2, 2?
We do
3-1?
both 2-1 and 2-2.
Okay.
On the website right now, we're updating it so we have pre-approved plans already. They're pretty simple because they're just boxes, but you could see the layout of the actual house on our website.
So single stories, what about 2-1s with a loft capacity?
That's up to what would you decide. It's still the same thing, yeah. As long as it stays within the footage of the under 1,200, it's the same amount of time for us to build.
you typically build a one-car garage or any kind of parking?
For the ADUs, as long as the house has parking already, that's what California's allowed. Before, when you used to build, you had to have a certain amount of parking spots for the house and on the street, but with the ADUs, as long as it has a driveway or one spot to park, you're fine.
Is it allowed with the one car attached?
And the backyard,
Yeah.
you can if you have the actual easement or the driveway to get to.
Does the size of the main house cap the max size of an ADU? And if you have a 1,100 square foot house, would you build a 1,200 square foot?
You can, we do have to do a lot of upgrades to the main house. The electrical and the sewer and the plumbing and the electrical has to be upgraded to compensate for both of them. It's the same thing with any other one. As long as you have the footage in the back, you're fine.
My question was kind of along those lines. If you have a home that's smaller than 1,200 already, and then you build an ADU on, can you build like a 2,400 square foot large ADU and call that house ADU and just like build another house?
That's a very good question. We did have one like that in El Dorado, and we're working on that because the house was really tiny and they wanted to build a house in the back. And right now our legal department is dealing with that. Trying to find out. That's a good question. I can get back to you on that if you like.
If somebody had a house and they wanted to talk about putting an ADU on there, would that be something that would be a good call for you? Would you be able to look at the property and help consult with them on their ideas, whether it's feasible and stuff?
Absolutely. That's the hands-on side. I would go out there and take a look at
So
it.
you would be.
I would be the one going out there and take a look at it, meeting the clients. That way they get to know they're gonna have a one-on-one experience and it's not sending a salesperson out there because we're not like the other companies. I'll do it myself. It's fun. You meet the clients, it's kind of like a marriage, right? A short marriage, we're in California. It's the difference, right? It's like a 7 or 8 month marriage, right? That's an average. But for us, I have to make sure that they're super happy and it reflects on us, reflects on you, and then it reflects on the corporation where we won't get any more referrals. Right? Yes, sir.
Quickly, if you could re-hit those time periods, I was not writing fast enough. And then secondary, what is your average cost and maybe in a low, mid to upper, what do you fall in on?
That's a good question. Well, first with the time, it's about 4 to 5 weeks with the architect,
Right.
but that's up to the client. If the client picks out, hey, I want this pre-approved ADU that's only 400 square feet, then it'll be 4 weeks to get the permits. But depending if we're going to do a custom one, which we're good at doing, we do custom ADUs. So then it's up to the client and the architect of how fast you get it done. And a lot of clients they change their mind later if they wanted blue cabinets and now they want white cabinets, and they wanted tile in the shower, but now they just want a plastic insert to save money. Like all that takes time. To actually get the permits in hand after we submit is 4 to 5 weeks for the city. And then the build, depending on the size, is 4 to 6 months.
Specifically a duplex that has significant size on both sides, RV access both sides, and enough size, dirt-wise, to do 2 on each. Could you do 1 on each side?
We can, and now, that's a good point. Now, if
So it'd be a
you,
4 unit.
correct. Now, if you're doing that behind a home, now that home becomes its own HOA. So I think, and I shouldn't speak as Steve, my in-house counsel, is taking care of all the technical terms, but California is going to pass a law. It's AB something. I forgot what the law is, but you could build 2 to 3 ADUs in your backyard now, and that actually becomes an HOA. The main house becomes the HOA, or the owner of the property becomes an HOA.
Where are the limits where you don't have to have that done?
That's a good question. That I do not know.
So that seems like,
Oh, wait, where you
Oh, you
don't
don't-
have to do HOAs?
Yeah,
Oh, you don't have to
accept
do
it.
that. I'm just saying, because now they allow you to sell every individual house.
Okay, I'm actually, thank you for that clarification. I'm just asking, can one be put on both sides, going from a 2 unit to a 4 unit?
Yes,
Not changing it from one
the
being
layout,
in.
and you're going up. That's correct.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that first one, that 498 square feet, what is that all in cost?
That, our
Rough-
prices
rough.
range from $265 a square foot up to 300 a square foot. And that's all in, that includes the permits, Title 24, engineering, HERS, and the full builds, turnkey, finished product. So it just depends on the products that you're gonna put, like I was mentioning before, the client just wants a simple ADU that they just wanna rent out, very, very plain. You're looking at about $265, $270 a square foot, all in cost. But if they want it for like an in-law unit, which a lot of them are doing, then they pick up the tile, glass shower doors. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but just a tiny 4 foot long glass shower door is almost $3,000. So everything is very expensive, so it just depends on if we build a insert shower with a curtain, then your costs go down significantly. Just depends on what they're.
Do you have like a flat, so if it's just a basic with standard grade finishes, no upgrades? Can you just give us like a baseline, what an average one you built has cost?
We're actually doing two of them right now in Sacramento. One is on 17th Avenue and one on 34th Street, something like that. And they're both 400 square feet, very basic, very plain. We are, the client's gonna pay 124 for that. All in cost. But it's basic.
124?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very
Where's it
basic.
at?
In Sacramento. We have two of them that we're getting the permits at the end of this week. I may confuse the streets, but 17th Street and 34th Avenue or vice versa. 17th Avenue or 34th Street.
That Midtown.
Awesome. I just build them.
Do you offer any owner builder services where you do all the title and permits and then owner would construct?
Not yet. I think I'm dabbling in that yet.
The permits.
Good extra profit.
Yeah, I know.
How much are the permits?
Roughly with architectural fees and engineering and submitting, anywhere between 15 to 20,000.
That was included in the 145, right?
Yes, yeah, but she asked just about the permitting, that's what it cost, yeah.
You say that they can sell each individual after the building. Do we need to apply for like the baby and also?
That is also a good question. We're working on that because the laws just started to pass about, or is gonna pass, but they just started that about 2.5, 3 months ago. So I am not familiar with that, but Steve, my in-house counsel is. So if you call, I can get that answer.
So frequently you have in-house counsel, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
What about setbacks? Do the setbacks still have to be the same?
It's still about 3.5 feet. But like I said, the costs go up because you have to fireproof inside and out. Whatever wall is on that 3.5 feet setback.
If it's up against a retaining wall,
You still have to,
like a freeway retaining wall or commercial.
yeah, you still have to do it. Yes, sir.
On the MLS, they added a little thing where you can put in your home and what kind of ADU you can fit back there. And it does the designs and you can do all that. Are you connected to that if we go to that, or will we just go to your website?
You could go to my website, and what we're doing now, this is our old website. I'm doing a new website where you can actually, there's a program that we bought that you actually pull up the property. And you could drag and drop one of these into the backyard and it'll tell you where the setbacks are. Tell you where it's gonna fit and how it's gonna look. That's something we're working on right now, because we're getting a lot of ADUs and a lot of people asking these questions, so I figured it'd be easier if they went to the website. And that program is really incredible. I'm still learning how to use it, but our IT department's getting it developed, but you could actually just drag and drop into it and it'll show you the backyard, where it'll fit. Pretty cool. Yes, those are the easiest ones to go. So if you walk to Placer County, they have 3, and that's already approved. I think you pay $3,000 and we just start building it.
And we can start right away.
But it's gonna be what they designed. So if you like what they designed, then yeah, we can start right away because it's already approved. So I think that takes about 1.5 to 2 weeks to get that approved, and then we get started.
It's very.
Yeah, that one is very fast, yeah.
You said that sometimes there's upgrades that have to happen to the existing home. Can you explain the process of walking the property, not just setbacks, but everything that you're looking for? And then if there is something in the existing home, what typically has to be fixed to get the ADU approved?
That's a good question. The major things that would have to get approved is the upgraded panel for the electrical to be able to support both houses. And the panel now has to be, if we have to upgrade the panel has to be 3.5 feet away from your gas main. And that's where the costs start going up, because right now they used to put your gas main and panel right above each other almost. So now it has to be 3.5 feet away. The nightmares that we've come into wasn't because of us, it's SMUD and Roseville Electric. Roseville Electric is really easy to work with. SMUD, the outside people, the people that come out to service, they're really nice, but getting through the office and the paperwork. If you don't have enough power in your existing house to be able to support both houses, then you have to pay SMUD to trench out their main line from the pole and run the wires again to be able to upgrade your panel to 200 amps. Same thing with the gas main. If the gas is not enough for that house, then we'd have to upgrade your meter. And if it needs to be, if the pipes need to be upgraded, then that's where the cost comes. But when I go see it, I let you know, okay, this is, I need to advise you that this is what's gonna have to happen. So the budget that you had in mind just for an ADU is no longer just for that. This all has to be upgraded. Yes, sir.
Does an ADU not go on a separate service then?
It has its own sub panel, but it has to pull from the house.
So there'll be a separate bill, or is it delineated or one bill for one utility cost for the main house? Or is it delineated for the back, you know, what it's using also?
It is. It knows what it's using in the back. It has its meter as well.
Or, so there's a sub meter, you're saying? And I think you were saying the ADU will be off of the main panel.
It is, but there's a sub meter on there also that can, but it doesn't change the APN. It just knows how much power is pulling from there. And then
Would it create a separate bill from Roseville Electric or something smart?
that is a good question. I have not dealt with that. So usually when after we build it, everything gets passed and the clients, I haven't asked that question. That is a good question.
And is 200 amp service usually enough for a main house and ADU?
Yes. But most houses right now we're running into only have 100 or 125. And if the wire is not thick enough, which usually it's not, we do have to trench it and get new service to that.
How does solar play into that, since everything built in California now has to have solar? If we-
Same thing with the panels. Yeah, we have to get our solar company to install the meters for the solar panels, and we install the panels.
Is the 124 you quoted solar included?
No, it does not, because the clients still have an option. We do have to have the ADUs now. They're not allowing gas, but you have an option of putting solar on the ADUs. And it also depends on the size.
Did you just really say they're not allowing gas?
No, I had to repeat that myself.
They're not allowing gas. Even when we get
Do you know
permits,
what politicians
especially in
said that?
Sacramento,
So we'd like to know.
especially in Sacramento.
It's a lot of money.
It varies. Well, you can thank your governor for that one, 'cause well, we do a lot of home remodels.
Not our governor.
We're doing a lot of full home remodels for investors right now, and when we pull the permits for that, if it does not have gas, they won't allow us to install it, even though the gas is right, maybe a 7-inch pipe that just absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, it's getting bad.
It's a little hard to hear you back here.
Oh, sorry. Usually they tell me to stop yelling. When
So
we do,
gas is not allowed on any new construction or ADU?
correct.
Even if there's gas on the property.
So it depends. We just built 2 of them in Roseville that we were allowed to because the gas main was a short distance from there. But Sacramento, I know they're not.
Oh, Lisa has that.
Probably about 7 months.
So how much would you charge us if we write you to come write it?
Vote on that.
Well, see, I'm not rivalable, so if we talk outside, maybe we can.
Body cam. Hey, John.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I know in different parts of town, they're qualified. I was just thinking of telling somebody about the Airbnb property. Do you know the process of checking which areas are accepted to Airbnb, like that ADU, that ADU, that they Airbnb it's, you know what I mean?
That's a
in
great
certain parts
question.
of Town, I mean, when I lived in San Diego, certain places were, I'm guessing here, if you have an HOA, they wouldn't allow that, but is it whether you could Airbnb it for extra?
Do you mind if I help with that one?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, you're gonna go by the county and they have their own rules and all you need to do is look up short-term rental for that county
Okay.
and they will give you a plethora.
Yeah, just
And do not,
way more money.
and do not tell people they can do it, because
Yeah.
there's a pretty good chance they can't.
Oh,
Well, we have a lot of, I mean, like I said, I'm doing a lot of houses for investors. They're obviously gonna rent out the place and it's okay, but you can't.
What's the smallest unit that's allowed? Not that that's, but where is there a limit? A lower limit of square footage?
That's a very good, I know the smallest ones I've built was 386 square feet.
It's pretty small.
It was a studio, yeah, a studio.
Pretty small.
It is pretty small. And the two we're building right now is 400. It's a 1 bedroom.
Tiny house.
Tiny.
You guys do general contracting as well in addition to the ADUs? Like if
Oh,
your
yeah.
clients want something?
Yeah, house for full home remodels, kitchens, baths, all that's in the brochure for referrals. I just need to be clear though, with all due respect, that we're not handymen. So I get a lot of calls like, hey, my water heater's not working. I'm like,
Hire a warranty company.
yeah, exactly. Or they'll say, oh, my dishwasher leaked, or can I just replace my countertops? Like we don't have the capability, nor do we have the time to go out and do little jobs. I think the smallest thing that we would do at this point now is a bathroom remodel. It's just not, we're just building a lot of ADUs and working with a lot of investors, full home remodels right now. We got 2 of them in Roseville that we had to gut the whole house and we're doing everything from scratch. Those projects usually take us about 6 weeks. We're pretty quick on doing that as well. Yes, sir.
Is it extra for the wheelchair accessibility to the showers and the rooms?
No, as long as it's in the design at the beginning. So what happens, that's a great question. A lot of the ADA, which we do a lot of, when you're building, when you're designing it, all it is when we do our foundation, we just have to frame it down. So when you pour the foundation, it's completely smooth. And it's just part of the architectural design once you do it. It doesn't cost any extra to get it done. We just have to know ahead of time. If you change your mind down the road, it's gonna cost you thousands, because now we have to take the plumbing out and do all that extra work.
Can you tell us how the referral process works and when we would get paid if we referred somebody to you?
Yes.
I only refer people to you.
Yeah, she like, she like, trust me.
Still full close basket.
With it out the Rolodex.
When it's done.
The referrals, if you refer somebody, then a year from that point, add an extra 6 months, and then you get your. We make it very easy. So if you refer somebody, let's say you say I have a client that wants to do an ADU. And we work with them for about 8 weeks. Once they sign that contract, at the beginning of the actual construction, which is what we call the excavation and foundation, they have a deposit. At that point, you get your referral and you don't have to stick around and wait till the end. And there's no, you don't have to be there hands-on. Just feel safe that you finally gave it over to your client. And you're welcome to always check in or come in and check out what we're doing. But you get referral basically right up front. You don't have to worry about waiting for the close of escrow or for them to finish. It's not your responsibility to finish on time, it's ours. So I want you guys to have your money immediately so you can go out and refer more people.
And what are the referrals, that percentage?
Anywhere from 1 to 3%, depends. Like if you're gonna send out a bathroom referral, then you'll get 1.5%. If you do an ADU that's over 150,000, then you'll get a 3% referral.
All right, guys, we can pepper him with questions all day, but has this been
Yeah.
good?
Oh, yeah.
Michael, every week, Michael doing it every week.
My card on there has my personal cell phone, so if you need to contact me with that. Our corporate number is on the brochures. For just when people have normal questions that the office can answer, but if you want to contact me directly, my cell phone is on the actual business.
Can you share for the folks online who don't have the brochures, your phone number?
Oh. Yes. I was looking back there. It's 650-274-4484. And 650-274-4484. And yes, it is a Bay Area number, but I've had that number since I was like 12. When they had pager, so I just kept it open.
Pagers, well, we have had. All right, give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
All right, we're not done yet. We have, like I said, we had a jam-packed filled day, but Barry's gonna close it down. He's gonna be talking about the eviction process. He called me up. He's like, Johnny, can I talk about something soon? And I was like, yes, I'll just ask this question. I totally blanked on the timelines. Felt like a total fool. So today you got, and he even, look, this is like less than an hour's notice. He has a paper. He's ready to go. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you. Hey, guys, thank you very much. I'll try to be quick and not as quick as my auctioneer voice, but I will slow it down some for you. Guys, this is actually a complicated process. As you know, you've already heard some of the fun things that we get to do because we live in the state of California. The eviction process was tailor-made for the state of California. It's great. So, I said no one ever. Okay, so we're gonna jump into it. Before I do though, I want to introduce you to Lauren Roundtree. Lauren, if you can say hi to everybody. Lauren is the new property manager with their team, and she is growing her portfolio. So if you have anybody that needs property managed, send it over to Lauren. That'd be awesome. And she's returning phone calls, and she's Johnny on the spot. Okay. Also to say thank you to, I think Clarine is online with us. Clarine's one of my VAs. She's in the Philippines. She put this together for you. So, all right. Okay. Yeah, she's a hustler. Okay. So 3-day notice, 30, 60, 90-day notice to terminate tenancy. The reason we start this on 2 different branches is because that's how it starts, right? So depending on where you fall on Tenant Protection Act, and I'm not going to go into, that could be a whole class all by itself with Tenant Protection Act. Depending on where you fall on that is how much notice you need to give. Also depends on how long the people have been in the property. Between those two, you determine whether it's a 30, 60, 90-day notice to terminate tenancy. This is the terminate any tenancy. This is if your lease is expiring, that's not enough. You still need to terminate the tenancy, right? And then you start in on this track, right? And you kind of start at that tenant does not move out. And so on the other one is the 3-day notice. That's the one you're most familiar with, also referred to as pay or quit. So if they haven't paid, so like we run our rents, we give them a grace period up till the 5th. Everybody thinks that's when the rent's due, but it's not. It's due on the 1st. Grace period till the 5th. On the 5th, we put them we charge a fee for them. After the fee is charged, probably by the 7th, we're hitting this 3-day notice. And so the 7th, we got 3-day notices going out all across the city. And amazingly, a lot of people pay after they get that notice. Just something about that notice that makes them pay. So if they pay, the matter ends. That's great. You can see that. If it does not pay, then we jump down to landlord files, unlawful detainer, summons, and complaint. At this point, this is usually what people are saying, hey, we're going to file an eviction, right? This is the actual eviction. We take a package, the lease, the ledgers, how much is owed, all the notices that we've given. We put that administrative package together and we send it over to our attorney. Currently, right now, we're using Stephen Shumway, and Stephen's number is 916-789-8821. I've also used Thomas Hogan for a long time, and you can look his number up or ask me for it later if you wish. Stephen Shumway. And so you follow that line down. These are the 4 different responses from that. I tried to make this, because it's so complicated, I haven't really seen a lot of charts that made it simple, and I think this one does. The tenant does not respond. Okay. Tenant doesn't respond. We prepare a default judgment. We get a writ of possession after the default judgment, sheriff's notice, and then we go to a sheriff's eviction. Sheriff's eviction is the sheriff actually knocking on the door. And at that point, it's pack your stuff and go, right? And so somebody asked me one time how I kick little old ladies out of houses. And I said, it's pretty simple. A lot of them have wheelchairs. You just kind of tilt that thing up and roll them right out, right? So that's kind of the way you do it. So anyway, so I have had people, while we were doing the tilt up, roll out grandma, because she had her mom at the house, they left grandma at the house, went to the courthouse, and got a stay while we were waiting. Actually, in that one, they didn't get the stay, but that's what they tried to do, was get the stay, which is, a stay is not a word you want to hear. All right, tenant files an answer, demand for jury trial.
How long does it take between that process from right to the sheriff?
It depends on where you're at. If you're in Sacramento, it depends on what their calendar looks like. Everywhere else, from the writ to the sheriff is usually about a week. For the sheriff's notice, about a week. So usually you're about, once you get the writ of possession in your hand from the court case, if you had one, from the default judgment, once you get the writ, you're probably about only 10 to 20 days out. Depends on how it falls, right?
Default to the rate, the week, or.
That's where it starts to be how the court, what we're really getting into is the operation of the court. How fast, there's no timeline really, it's how fast does the court get through their paperwork. Now, Sacramento court is notoriously underfunded. I think it's underfunded on purpose. And so their timelines are a lot longer, right?
It can take a couple weeks to a couple months.
About Placer County.
So again, you just asked me about that part. That part's a couple of weeks. There's never a couple of weeks for an eviction. It's always a couple of months, right? You're going to be 2 to 4 months for an eviction. So just plan on it. So again, anything you can do to avoid going down the eviction route is probably better, right? And tenant files an answer demand for a jury trial. If for a little while there, we were actually, that was running faster than if they did a default, because the default side paperwork was backed up and they didn't have people processing it. A tenant would file a jury trial thinking they were slowing it down. In reality, that track was running on time. And so we were getting faster and faster on that track. By the way, I have never been to a trial that we lost. As much as you hear bad about California, this is administrative law. And if it's done correctly, the eviction process is not a complicated process. And if you do it right, it works. It's slow, but the slow is not to be considered the punishment. The slow is all done on the court side, not responding correctly, not having enough funds to respond. Tenant files demur or motion to strike. You get a hearing. Tenant has a motion to quash summons of service. Those are very rare, and they usually don't go very far. Notice of service would be something like, oh, you didn't really give me the notice. Well, for the most part, that's a moot argument because they trust the property manager as a third party neutral, and they just assume that if we said we gave it to them, we give it to them. It doesn't necessarily happen if it's 101, but it'd be kind of hard to get that. I've never had it. Never had it go to pass. Memorandum set for trial, mandatory settlement conference. So we do have that conference almost every time. We very seldom have a jury trial. That actually usually just gets done by a judge. Administrative law, they take care of it right there. We do almost always go for that settlement out in the hallway. They'll put you out in the hallway. Sometimes it does make sense to settle, and sometimes it doesn't. I'm getting to the point now where what should have been a settlement process, what do I mean by that? It means I'll do a stipulation and I'll say, okay, if you move out, we're here, we're going to win. But if you move out by, the end of the month, then we won't go ahead with this eviction and put it on your record. And sometimes that is easier. But lately I've been advising against it because the stipulation, all the stuff that's supposed to happen automatically from the court, doesn't happen automatically. It winds up taking much longer. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go through with the eviction. That may change at some point, but for right now, we're following through with the entire eviction once we get there. Trial, we don't usually have long trials. Usually they're an hour or two while you wait for your case to come, and that's about it. Now, tenant stays in possession. If the tenant wins, they stay in possession. They do have to pay the back rent. Even if they win, they get the cost of the suit back and recovers attorney fees. I've never had it happen. I don't understand how a tenant would win unless you just totally screwed it up. Tenant loses, you get a judgment, sheriff's notice, sheriff's eviction. The judgment is a part that a lot of people skip over. My advice is to get the judgment. It's a separate process, costs a couple of $100 more. Many owners are like, oh, we're never going to get the money anyway. But by this time, this is usually a 10 grand number, right? Depends on how much the rent was. Our average rent, I think, in this area, we're running about $2,400. So in 5 months, you just went through 10 grand, So my advice is to go ahead and pay for the extra, get the judgment. And then with my company, we turn that judgment over to me. I actually file, it's a new process for us. We actually file with a company called Saturn. And under Saturn, I get to come in as a debtor myself, as a collector myself. So when it goes on their credit report, it goes on as a property manager, right? Instead of going on the credit report as XYZ Collections. That makes a huge difference. When it goes on there as a property manager, they're toast. It doesn't have to be, it's never coming off for like 7 years or something like that, but they're not written from any property management company again, because it's right there on the credit report. That's kind of the process in a nutshell. So that was my quick version. If you have any questions, I'll take what question down. Your questions are not going to be as interesting as Dom. Dom is just a much more interesting guy.
Obvious question. What if you have a tenant with no lease?
A tenant with no lease?
Squatting.
Huh?
Squatter.
So you start the same process. So first I would serve them a notice. First I'd ask them to sign a lease. That's my quickie. Hey, would you like to stay here? Let's get you on a lease. We'll get them on a 30-day lease. Little do they know that my lease is a son of it. My lease is really powerful, right? And so once they're on my lease, I can control the process a lot more. It is better to be on a written lease. But if they're not on a lease, you can still go through the eviction process. If they're squatting, you can still take them through the eviction process. Even if you don't know their names, they can still go through the eviction process. They definitely want to get an attorney's advice and work with an attorney on that.
How often do you recommend like a cash or keys as an alternative to a formal eviction process?
I'm not really doing cash for keys anymore. What we'll sometimes do is we might, if I was going to do a cash for keys, I might would help once they find a place. Okay, I'll pay for your first month's rent at that place, right? But I'm not giving you cash, right? The other thing we've done is we'll often do this where we eliminate your back pay. So you owe us $5,000, just walk out now. We won't charge you $5,000. Because otherwise I'm coming after you and I'm going to put you on the credit record, and someday you're going to want to buy a car and you're not going to be able to.
Or rent another house.
Or rent another house, yeah.
So Barry, how involved is the seller or the owner of that property, that your client, in this process when you're going through the mandatory settlement? Is that already determined up front of what you're going to settle for in your agreement with the property owner?
So I thought two things. How involved is the clients once we start this process? I would prefer my clients to never be involved in anything other than getting a check.
Right.
That's my level of service, right? I'll tell you when your check's in the mail, right? But what you're asking is different. Involved in the settlement. Yes, I'm going to go to them for the settlement. If it's something that just makes common sense, I may make a judgment call. But for the most part, if I'm trying to wipe out $5,000 worth of debt, I'll probably be on the phone at that settlement hearing and calling them with my attorneys right there. And then I'll say, hey, what do you think about this? Do you want us to do it? Usually by that time, I've kind of given them the options before I go into that hearing, and they've already told me what to do. You know, some of them, usually they're just like, just whatever you do, get them out of the house. I don't care about the money, get them out of the house. That's the way the conversation usually goes.
Right.
Or they'll be like, I have some of them that it gets personal, and they're like, I want every dime of their children's money. Right. So I kind of know what to do when I go into that situation. So.
If the tenant move out, how do you proceed while you're doing eviction, but you haven't served the 3 days?
So the 3 days would have been the start of the eviction. So I would have served the 3 days before we started the eviction. Are you saying if the tenant moves out while the eviction process is ongoing? Yeah. So I've got that going on right now. The tenant has moved out while the eviction process is going. The tenant did not bring me keys. The tenant is still being evicted. So even though the house is empty, I may even change the locks on the property, right? Because the law said there's a legal way to do it, and I usually violate that. So cut this. Yeah. I violate that. I violate it in the sense of this. The law says I have to wait 18 days in order to secure that property, lock them out. What I'll usually do is go ahead and lock them out, leave a number on the thing, say, call me if you need to get in. And that's my way, because I don't want vandals in the property. I don't want them in the property without me knowing they're in the property. So that's usually what I'll do is kind of circumvent that process. But the process, huh? It is actually. So, I mean, they say it is. The attorneys say not to do it.
We did it in REO days, put a sign up. And
yeah. I think I can justify that to a judge. So I usually go with what I can justify rather than what an attorney tells me. So.
Can you drop the kids if they're out?
Can you what?
Drop the kids if they're out, you guys have to go still to the eviction.
If you want to drop the eviction, you're taking a chance. If you've already started the eviction, let me make sure you understand. The attorney's getting paid when he starts the eviction and when he files it. So if I've already paid the attorney and started the eviction, there's not really a good reason for me to drop the eviction. I might as well run on through and go ahead and slam it to their credit report. So.
Cost of eviction start to finish.
In my company, if I'm managing, I charge a $500, it's $495 admin fee. That's not necessary for other people. If you're doing it yourself, you don't have to pay that. I would say maybe $1,200 start to finish.
So the 1,200 plus the 495.
No, maybe eight, usually about 900 plus the 495, somewhere in there. And then, but you could run 1,200 if you were doing it yourself, is what I'm saying. My attorney is a lower price for me. If you have an attorney that's charging by the hour, it's very good. Not all attorneys do this the same way. I use attorneys who only do evictions. Right? So if you have an attorney who also does evictions, then he's probably charging you by the hour, and that's going to get expensive. Probably be about $3,000 to $4,000.
There's also lost rents.
Yeah.
And
I would say the number one thing you could do to prevent evictions is don't buy properties in crappy neighborhoods. I do more evictions in crappy neighborhoods. Not to say that we don't do evictions in nice neighborhoods, but we do more evictions in crappy neighborhoods with low rents than we do in more expensive neighborhoods, right? And I don't care anything about color. What I care about is color green, right? The more green you're getting for the house, the less likely you are to get an eviction, okay? Now, that being said, we manage properties all over low-end neighborhoods. I've got one client that is pretty much everything he owns is in Del Paso, right? And they do pretty good, but they still, the lower-end neighborhoods still make a large proportion of evictions. And I hadn't quite figured out exactly why. I can tell you this, though, when you're screening tenants, the biggest thing you can look for is stability, right? If you can look for stability with those tenants, if they have a good job, they don't have, when I say good, I don't necessarily mean expensive job. I mean, if they have a job that it looks like they're stable, right? Those are the kinds of things you're looking for. You're looking for people that don't have a huge amount of drama in their life. If they have a bunch of drama and, then that's usually going to show up later down the road. Okay. Any other questions? How we doing on time?
Good, man.
All right, guys. We're right here in the office if you need anything.
All right, was this a good meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of good information. So we'll see you back next Thursday here at 10 o'clock. Bye all. Bye online there.